Welcome to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. And yes, I am Liv Harrison. You are watching the only late night show that doesn't go too far. Yeah, probably far enough. Taylor Schroll is here today because he is my in-studio producer and one of my closest friends, whether he likes it or not. And today's guest is someone that we both really love and adore, but we don't want to talk about her yet. We want to talk about our childhood, because I know that Taylor loves discussing my past, my childhood, my memories when he was just a wee babe. And by that I mean not alive.
When I was a young warthog.
I don't even know what that means.
When I was a young warthog. You don't know that movie?
Of course I do. But I love that that's what you went with. You went with Nathan Lane.
Were we not both young warthogs at some point?
I mean, that's true. Thank you for saying at some point. I appreciate that, Taylor. That is maturity and growth. Oh, man. There it is.
I was trying to be so nice.
You were trying so hard. Anyway, so Taylor, here's what I wanted to ask you. I, as you know, love to talk about growing up in Louisiana. It's your favorite conversation. But this is true. We had like a fancy, let me say that, like a formal dining room. That's the word. Formal dining room. Did you have a formal, like, you know what I mean? Like a dining table with chairs and, you know what I mean? Like a formal dining room. Did you do that?
Those are two different questions. Did you have a formal dining room table, and did you have a table with chairs? We did have a table with chairs. It was not incredibly formal. It was like a
kitchen situation?
Yeah, it was. The kitchen was right next to the dining room. And actually, the dining table that I grew up eating on in my parents' house is now the dining table and chairs at my house.
I love that dining table and chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so that's what you... Okay, so now, did you guys do anything fancy like on Sundays? Did your parents do a Sunday meal? You know what I mean? Or like that was like Sunday dinner, you went to mass, you did Sunday dinner and like they got out like the nice china? Or was that... Did y'all ever do that kind of stuff?
You know me as an adult. Do you think I grew up with fine china? Does anything about me say fine china?
Listen, there's a lot of things I try not to say about you. I'm just asking. Did you do Sunday dinners?
No, I mean, we ate dinner as a family, like most days. Like sometimes, like my dad worked shift work, so we weren't always all together. But like we would typically like have meals together whenever like we'd come home from sports and those sorts of things.
And that kind of stuff.
Sunday was just, I mean... No, I mean, not Sunday wasn't special.
Okay, so I'm trying to set this up for what I did.
The Lord's Day wasn't special is what I just said. Whoops.
That is not what he meant. So we have my parents have like a really fancy dining room table, and they didn't buy it.
We all know.
Okay, just calm down. They got it from someone, I don't know, and it has like multiple leaves. Okay, you know what that, like, it's like at the middle piece that you can take out or take in to make it a bigger table, or take out the leaf and it makes it smaller.
I didn't know those were called leaves.
Yeah, they're called leaves.
Shouldn't be called leaves.
I don't know why. Nobody asked me. I know, it's so dumb. But this one has 2 leaves. Okay, that's how like this table gets ginormous. But like right now nobody lives there, so it's just no leaves. But the chairs at the time, which I don't think it's the same chairs, although watch me go to my parents this week and then I'll be like, oh, these are the exact chairs I was talking about. But they were like, they have cane. You're not going to know any of this stuff. Like a cane backing, C-A-N-E. Like that's the type of wood or whatever. Like it's
Sugar?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think so. I think that's exactly what it is. It's like this cane weave, cane backing. And like, it's like this, I don't know, like it's got these fabric chair, whatever. I don't have a formal dining table. I'm not into it. But they were, and they had china, I think from my dad's mother. I'm making up this stuff. They're not going to watch this show. Sure, my grandmother. We'll just say that. Yeah. Exactly, because they hate Taylor. And so we would have Sunday dinner. My father would make his homemade spaghetti sauce. You know, my dad's 100% Italian. Everybody loves when I talk about this. Not really, not at all.
Yeah, this is one of the three stories you always share.
It's all I ever say. Yeah. I have nothing else to talk about. And so my dad would get up like super early and cook the sauce all day. And then we would go to mass and come home, and like it would take all day to get ready. But we would dip bread in the sauce like all day long and be like, Dad, I need more of this, whatever. So we were full by the time it was time to eat. So here's the thing. One day my parents were doing something in the dining room, and this is when we lived in Natchitoches in Louisiana. And my brothers, at the time, I only had 2 because one of the brothers was born here in Houston. And so it's me and 2 brothers. And the dining room chairs were put in a circle in the playroom. We had a playroom. I think probably what happened was my parents entertained a lot because we lived in Louisiana. There wasn't a lot to do. So they would have people over all the time. And so usually that meant like they probably had like a small group of people over and they were just sitting whatever. So I decide to tell my brothers that mom and dad wanted us to play a game on the dining room chairs. And I went and I got a whole thing of green grapes and I put like a lot of green grapes in each chair. And then I told my brothers to go and sit on them and squish them into the fabric of the dining room chairs. I'd like to pause at this moment and ask you, did you ever do anything to your house that your parents would weep?
I mean, would I have ever thought to put grapes on furniture? No. Did I do other things to bother my parents? I'm sure.
What's the worst thing you ever did to your house? Like to a piece of furniture, to a wall, to a staircase?
Let's see what you think about this story. So because my dad worked shift work, I spent a lot of my older years of childhood sleeping in our room above the garage. It was like a...
Oh, cool. Like an apartment?
Kind of, but it like didn't, but yes, it had a bed and it had a TV and like we all hang out up there and everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing that it didn't have was a bathroom.
Oh gosh.
But when you're sleeping outside, like out of the main house, it was like you had to go outside into the backyard to like get to it. So like,
I know where this is going.
Middle of the night at 3 a.m. when you wake up, you don't want to go inside, undo the house alarm, all this stuff. So I would relieve myself in the natural manner from the second floor balcony, like to the ground, which was funny because because you're in high school, like you sleep till late hours, right? So sometimes I'd get up and I'd think it was 2 a.m. Other times I went to bed at 2 a.m. And so the rest of my family was, awake having breakfast.
No.
And they just see a stream of, that stuff. That's what I did.
I forget that you were also the only boy in your family.
Yeah.
So you got away with that kind of stuff.
Not allowed to live in the house is the theme that you're seeing here.
Not only that, they probably were like, that's fine. We'd rather it smell like boy out there.
No one ever told me to stop.
Yeah. That's just Taylor. They're like, oh, that's fine. So what about as a dad? What are some things that have your kids taken a Sharpie and gone on a precious heirloom or...
It's mostly the walls. We got our walls, somebody gifted us professionally painted walls when we moved into the house.
Oh, how nice.
Because the house that we moved into had a lot of so the options that we had with our budget was a shack or this other place. So there were, but to be honest, there were some really nice houses that were really small, like newer houses, or this older house with a lot of room for a big family, but it needed a lot of work. So somebody gifted us hey, we'll get the whole house repainted. And 3 weeks later, just Sharpie all over it. So we had to spot clean a lot of those areas.
Do you use a magic eraser, like the Mr. Clean? Does that work, or you don't even know?
We use this thing called paint. Just repaint it over it.
See, I don't know. My kids didn't do the wall situation, but here's what's so funny. I don't remember my kids doing anything, but that's probably because I don't remember anything. I had the worst memory ever, except about my childhood.
It's probably because I don't remember.
I know, right? That was really, listen, very deep. This is a very deep show. But I do remember, and this is because my mother brings it up all the time, that when you go through her yearbooks, I don't know if your parents have their yearbooks still from high school and college. What?
No, they barely had printing presses back then.
They have one photo of themselves when they came over.
Etched face on stone.
Your poor parents. They don't watch the show either. So anyway, but I took a pen and I scratched out her face and every single anything. And she was homecoming queen in high school. So apparently I don't like pretty girls. Lots has changed.
I hate this woman. Who is this?
It's my mother. My therapist makes me bring the books every time I come to therapy. Just kidding. But yeah, I don't remember my kids doing, I think it's because they have a better parent than I did. I'm just kidding. My mom was like the ultimate. I'm kidding.
She loves me now.
She does love you now. No,
man, if you would like to disown your daughter and take me in.
Here's my real joke. My mom, I say this to my kids all the time. I say constantly, I had a better mother than you. I was like, that's your fault. I say that to them all the time because my mom, Vicky, is like the mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like they wrote the word mom and then it's just my mom's picture. So that's why I have to make jokes because it's not real. It's not true at all. Now my dad, no, I'm just kidding. So, but what's really interesting, and I think you'll appreciate this. My parents, they took the garage and they made it into a playroom because it was a small house in Louisiana. And there wasn't like, as they kept having kids, which they only ended up with 4, act like I grew up with like, you know, whatever. And, but my mom had the garage redone, right? And like, it was like legit into a playroom. But then they had a guy come in and build, you're going to love this, actually build playpens for us. So we each had our own playpen. It's your dream. So I went into a cage.
You a warthog and now you have a pen.
You kind of gave me PTSD. I was like, if he only knew. But
also, Olivia, where are we right now?
Yeah, we're in a garage. I know. That's where I got the idea. Like, hey, you can make anything out of your garage.
Nathan made you a playroom, and this is your pen.
It's so true. Well, here's what's so brilliant. My parents put the hook of the playpens on the outside, so we couldn't get out. But Taylor, I was almost 10 years old when we moved and I still had my own pen. Like my parents would be like, okay, everybody go into your little like playpens, and all of our like books and toys and stuff was right there, and they would shut the little gate and hook it. And now like looking back, I'm like, that was genius because we didn't have the space in our house for us to each have our own like cubby situation. And I'm like, man, my parents were really smart. And
I love that you're like, that borderline child abuse, brilliant.
It wasn't. We could
They
breathe.
locked us in pens in the garage for hours at a time. It was so smart.
They were there. They threw bread at us. It was fine. No, it was really pretty slatted wood, actually. Or we were outside. We played outside a lot. We were on 3.5 acres. So it was when we moved to the big city that I think they were like, where do we put these kids now? It was a lot smaller. And yeah, in fact, what's funny is that the garage also became what was a mother-in-law suite, and that became a playroom. Do you guys have a playroom like at your house, or did you grow up with one? Or I mean, I guess you had the apartment.
We did not grow up with one, other than like, I mean, it was like the adult, like the older kid playroom. Like me and all my friends hung out above the garage. But my kids have a playroom.
They do.
Yeah, so they've got all their toys and stuff in there.
It's brilliant.
A TV. So that is again, kind of like your parents. It is their pen. It is like, shut up and go away. Go over there. We've bought you hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of toys. Go in there. Leave us alone.
Right. Shut the door. It's mommy and daddy time. Yes, always. You guys, this has been fantastic. I don't want you to leave because we have an incredible guest coming up. So don't go anywhere. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Hello and welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. I have got the one and only Paige Rien with me, which until about 3 seconds ago, I thought her name was Paige Rien. So, and I also thought, here's what's so great, Paige. I was going to introduce you as the only women's basketball player that I know, because I equate you to female sports. Because when I started following, I know, look at your face. You're like, none of that applies to me. When I started following you on Instagram, you were doing a lot of things with basketballs and like showing like your trophies. So I was like, oh, she's a famous WNBA player.
No.
And so in my mind, you're Cheryl Swoops. Oh, is that okay with you?
I'll take the best thing I've been called all day. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
Everyone, Cheryl Swoops. Okay. You look great. You look great, Paige.
I still got it. What can I say? I still got it.
Yeah, I don't even know if you remember what I'm talking about.
Oh, I
when
do.
You were like really. Oh, you
yeah,
do.
come on.
Okay,
I do.
So I don't want to even I don't even want the people to know what it is that you are famous for. I'd like to put a pin in that.
That's fine.
I'd like to talk about. We'll get to that later, Paige. Jeez. I'd like to focus on your pretend basketball career that I am determined that you have.
Look, I don't know.
Did you play basketball?
Yeah. First of all, I'm 6'1" and I have a size 13 foot. If I didn't play basketball, I'd have some real problems. Okay. Like,
Are you serious?
yeah. See if I can.
That's amazing. Okay, so where did you play basketball?
I played.
Yes. For everyone watching and who has a foot fetish, listen, Paige, it's not that late.
Adam, very flexible, more and more flexible as the day goes on. So, which is good. No,
This is a
Look,
great
what is
show.
happening?
This is a great show already.
I got.
Let's call this a day.
A lot more body tricks, but the basketball thing. In my generation, when you were 10 or 11 or 12 and you were giant and like the gym teacher was like, you get on the basketball team. I don't think you're going to make it in life if you don't put that body somewhere.
Right.
Now, when you're
Where's your
like,
point? Yeah,
now
yeah.
you're 5, you end up doing like tryout teams and all kind of that stuff. But anyway, back in my day,
Travel teams.
back in my day, it was real simple. I was 12 years old. The gym teacher, Mrs. Wadlinger, I'll never forget, Mrs. Wadlinger. She was like, listen, you need to go out for the basketball team. This is it. It's happened. And I ended up in 6th grade getting cut from the team. I think I was 5'11". It was like very humiliating because I was like here and the other girls were like down here. But the woman was like, listen, she doesn't know how to play. So I went home and I taught myself. I went to basketball camps, came back, and it became a passion for many, many years. I ended up playing basketball in college. I got trophy. I had a high school career, which was wonderful. I found a place for all the limbs and the big feet and the inks, because basketball is a great, like, intense person's sport. And it was great. Yeah. And now the best part
Where did you play?
I played at Brown University.
Brown.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's a little dinky public school.
Very conservative. Actually, I took a picture of myself in a JP2 We Love You t-shirt, and my dad was there and he was wearing a brown sweatshirt. I'm like, I can take a picture of this because I don't know if there's a lot of that happening at the same time. Not so much. You know what I mean?
Right. Not anymore.
Maybe not ever. But
maybe not
the
ever.
coolest thing is I have a group of teammates that I still love and hang out with, and I'm the smallest one. So that's the coolest thing.
Are you really?
Well, they may. I'm on the smaller side of the group. Let's put it that way.
Man, that's some tall friends.
Yes.
I love it. So why? Okay, so let's be honest. Why didn't you go into it professionally?
Oh, I wasn't
like,
good
why
enough.
was that a dream?
No, I wasn't good enough.
Oh,
no.
you weren't.
And truthfully,
Okay.
when I got to college, I saw lots of cute boys and lots of bars with my name on it. And basketball, college sports is incredibly intense. It's like a full-time job. Yeah. And that is a very long story, but I made a departure from my athletic career thinking that boozing up with Euro boys, princes from Oman and wherever they were from would be fun. And so I left my athletic career to pursue drinking. And
and everyone's like, this is a great show. This is going to be a drinking game. This interview right here is so fantastic. So, but here's the thing. I love that you went from basketball to obviously being on HGTV.
Right. But this is another timing thing where thank God, I was born in 1975. So I was like at 12, I could still play basketball because again, youth sports has changed so much. And thank God I was somebody that like my husband and I were really into renovation and we were doing flips when nobody was doing it. Like nobody.
Way before Joanna Gaines.
My God,
you don't
Joanna,
say her
I didn't
name.
Even know she was like, didn't get a period yet.
Say her
okay.
name. She was a zygote.
Come on, Joanne, not even talk to me about her. Shiplap was no. But we were doing that. And then I was also trying to be the next Meryl Streep in New York City. Like I wanted to do dramatic roles and cry on camera, which if we want, I could make that. But I was really
wait a second. Wait, whoa. So wait, I didn't even ask you. What did you get your degree in at Brown? Were you in theater?
They don't really give degrees out. They just they give
just tell people you went to Brown.
I majored in urban studies.
I
majored in urban studies because I wimped out on architecture. We want the full story. We want this to go that dark into the majoring and drinking and then being too afraid to become an architect. But I'm always fascinated about design, homes, buildings, city planning, all that stuff. kind of messed around in business. And again, this is all, I've been in recovery for 25 years, so we don't have to go dark, but let's say there was a big shift. But where I was going was down fast. But anyway, I got into recovery. I cleaned my life up a bit. And I actually, in recovery, found out that I love performing. I love characters. I love talking. I love talking. And so I thought, acting really was calling my name. They weren't looking for a 6'1" Meryl Streep for anything. Shocking, I know.
I was going to say, I haven't seen that yet. So maybe now's the time.
I missed my window. I don't know. I missed my window of the overgrown ingenue that was cried a lot. I missed her.
Listen, you're on this show, so
I think I made it. Mom, this is it. I made it.
Here's your moment.
I don't need anything else.
I'm so happy for you.
So much better.
Congratulations.
Actually, better than really.
That is so funny. Okay, so you're in New York. You're trying to be Meryl Streep, and then you fall into HGTV.
Well, then the roles I was getting were like super weird, like thrice off Broadway stuff, or I was getting like the telecom like cherry picker worker, like the stuff that was like I was way far away from the camera in the commercial, or I was like the mom of the basketball player, like tall mom stuff, or like women who need strength in their job, like roles, and anyways, weird stuff. And my agent was like, "This is not really working out. What about the home shows? We got some home shows. I see that when you come into my office, you're covered in drywall dust," which I was, because my husband and I were always like redoing a house that nobody else wanted. And I literally always like literally living in construction sites. We lived in construction sites. And he would say, "What's up with this? You're always like working. Like what's your husband's, renovating something. What is it? It wasn't what it was today." Okay. It was like a novel hobby. And so he's like, so I started interviewing or auditioning for those kinds of shows, like those. And there were just a few.
You're telling me these are actors that are on our HGTVs? Is that what you're telling me, Paige?
Wow.
Are you ruining reality television?
I will say yes. Okay. Especially in the beginning, like they were not going to put a designer or architect on television unless they had a lot
Ty Pendleton. Like, what are we talking about? I need to know. Now he's delicious.
He's beautiful. I say I don't watch HGTV anymore, so I can't always. But I will say that they do.
I only know the old school.
They wanted people with television experience. I also had a stint on QVC, because somehow when you're on the way to Meryl Streep, QVC makes so much sense, right? Like,
if you tell me you're now on Shark Tank with Lori, that's the only QVC thing I know.
Oh, that would have been good. No, I was like selling makeup on QVC because I could talk nonstop, and that's like pretty much the only qualification to be on QVC.
So QVC got you onto HGTV, and you were on, what show were you on?
So the show is Hidden Potential. So I, and again, this is I walked in and I'm like, we're doing this work. I can talk. QVC. They're like, "You're a little big, but we'll take you." Like they're a little, like, we don't know how we're gonna do with the camera, like, because I'm tall for TV, and I'm not being self-deprecating. Like, if you go to a television, people are tiny. People are like this big, And so even like my co-star or like who's my friend Brendan Millay is tiny, and then the other designer on the show, Barry Woods, who by the way is also a model and an architect, he's also very small. Like I looked like his very large sister. Like we look.
From the old land,
the cousin,
from the old country,
well-fed Swedish, I don't know what. So anyway, long story short, I got lots of interesting letters about that season of my life, but that was it. I mean, and I look, I loved it, and I loved talking and connecting with real people. So most of the people were real, and I think so that come and want something, want their house redone, want to look for a new house, want ideas, need help. I love that. That was really, really fun.
And so now, but here's what's so fascinating about the whole thing is that really and truly you are thought of, and because now you're into, you have a couple of books, I don't know if you know this, and they're all about, I mean, you're the home design gal. Like I watch you on Instagram and I'm like, oh, look at all the glasses that she's getting and what is she doing? And then like, I think I sent you my house when I bought my house because it's a mid-century modern.
Gosh, I know your house.
Oh my gosh.
That's
incredible. And I don't know what to do with it. I need you to live next door to me. First of all, you need to be on this show every day. And then second, could you imagine? I don't know if Jesus loves the world that
Lord,
much.
if it be your will, I'm just saying.
Like this is too much Catholicism spirit. Exactly. It's a lot. And just so you can help me make this house into the Mad Men house it's supposed to be.
Gosh.
But
so
I know
great.
you'd love
Oh
it.
my
You need to come
gosh.
visit. I'm not kidding. You're invited anytime. But now
I
this
love
is
it.
your space. I mean, you are a designer. Like you are a home designer. Like it's just so cute. Like to hear your story of God's like, this is adorable. She thinks she's playing basketball. And then he's like, what is she doing? And now you have this entire career. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like, have you ever I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've had a cup of coffee looking at your beautiful green glass that you've bought and said, who knew I'd be here?
God is hilarious. I mean, the Lord is
He is funny.
so funny.
He made us.
I was not looking for so many of the things that have plopped into my life. I mean, my gosh, it was just so funny. But I think even like being on HGTV, there's so many pivots, and there was like, I hate to overuse that word, but a pivot away from even traditional interior design because it's kind of mean. And it's kind of snarky, it's kind of rude, and it's kind of materialistic, and it's kind of bossy, and it's kind of like wants everyone to do the same thing. And so even that experience, although I love design and I'm going to like stay here. I mean, traditional interior design and I are even we're no longer friends. We no longer hang out. We don't even look at each other when we're in like Starbucks together. Me, designer, like go look at your whatever you're doing, lookbooks or whatever. I want to talk to real people and help real people with real budgets who, by the way, have real objectives for their home beyond posting it, to really be a living, breathing entity that supports your family. I mean, you can do that in fabulous ways, but I think we've lost our way a little bit. Traditional interior design, the Joanna stuff, it's a lot of copycat. It's just not, a home is, that's not what it's supposed to be. So
yeah,
so
everybody's house looks like the inside of a Target. It reminds me, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I'm sure.
Where's the
bullseye?
The bullseye's next, right?
Right. No, it's funny because I feel like it's difficult. I don't know how you feel. I feel like you and I are similar in that we're not the traditional Catholic homemaker kind of a thing. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess. I'm not a Martha at all. No.
I'm a convert. I was like a pagan with an attitude up until like 5 years ago. So
how's it going?
It's going great. It's going great.
Pro Catholicism. It's still we're going to stay with it.
The Lord is hilarious. The Lord has a sense of humor. I mean,
so you never saw this coming.
Never saw it coming.
You really were like a pagan, like for real. Like you were like atheist. What are we talking about?
Listen,
like how pagan we talking, Paige?
We're talking like baptized Greek Orthodox, but my parents were like, we're not gonna go again though. Like so it's like we're gonna get you washed up, but then we're not. So it wasn't a part of my life growing up, and then I got into recovery sort of around the time that I decided majoring in drinking would be a good idea. Drinking, eating, and men would be like a great major. And then
they talk about that in the Bible.
Yeah, it is actually. Yes, yeah, there was.
There was popular subjects.
There was a demoniac was majored in drinking, eating, and men. His name was Paige. But no. But I, at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm 12 steps of AA and these programs are a big part of my life. And there is a big sort of new agey deep dive or an invitation to seek and to, again, I do believe I have a God-sized soul. And I know this isn't the show for me to share.
That's great.
But no, I mean, like,
this is perfect.
But no, like God-sized soul, like we're all trying to fill it with something. Some of us try to fill it a lot for many years with a lot of things, like all the things. And then there's others that are like, well, they realize I try to fill it with anything and everything that would fit. Wow, would fit. Yeah. And from that, though, you end up being like, oh my gosh, nothing is going to fit it. But now, like, maybe I can like look up all the Louise Hay books and crystals and mantras. Maybe I can go to a Native American sweat lodge. Maybe I can do some beads. Like, you become like all in on anything not religious.
I need all the things.
Give it to me on. I was joking around. I watched this video about the Holy Spirit and even about speaking in tongues and like parts of Catholicism that people are like, that's a little weird. I'm like, if you think that's weird, you've never had a New Agey season. Like you've never had like...
You never had a summer in the New Age.
Totally. You've never been to like a Native American sweat lodge and it shows. Like you've never like
it shows.
Come on.
You've never had a dream catcher.
You've never dream catcher. You've never like gone to one of those stores where all the things look like rosaries, but none of them are. Anyway, I think we're natural seekers. Some of us have a bigger hunger to seek, and then we want to seek the low hanging fruit. And for me, I'd been turned off from religion. Oddly, I'm brown. I don't know how that happened. But I think a part of it was being a brown. Part of it. Can't blame them completely. But then, I mean, the church just revealed itself in all these beautiful people who I expected to be like, you suck, you're a pagan, you don't have any faith, you don't have any religion, you're broken, you're horrible. And instead they were like, we like you just as you are. And we've prayed that more people like you would come up because Katie, Kelly, and Catherine that have been here since birth, they're great, but we need you too. You know,
that's exactly right. Well, and here's the thing. And in the Bible, I feel bad. I feel like they get so excited about the sinners coming back. and the converts and the, like the prodigal son, there's a lot of times you're sitting here like, well, maybe I should go and take my inheritance. So all of, heaven rejoices. And my husband's like, no, that's not at all what that.
Maybe I need to go out for a little. No, I know. I think it's funny because I think I have some friends who are cradle Catholics, and they're like, "What is all this? Like, what?" Yeah, you have like a sense of it, but it's a newness, right? Last week first we last. It's thank cool. God, right? But no, it's a newness, and also as an adult coming upon all these things, and also having tried everything else, truly. I mean,
okay, so really. So that's a great segue into this question of what had to quiet down in your life in order for you to hear God calling you to Catholicism specifically.
Oh my gosh. I think so. The word that just came into my head was the achievement train that had to quiet down. Now, the achievement train led me to binging my brains out on food, drinking myself to oblivion, and seeking any male who, especially the males that were mean, any male's attention. Like those, they
the toxic ones.
I love the mean ones. I married the nicest guy in the world, and I'm like, really? It's weird. It's just funny. But no, I mean the achievement train. So when I was growing up, I didn't hear about heaven, but I heard a lot about Princeton. I heard a lot about places where you could go if you work really hard and you're really good at a lot of things, and you, by the way, kick a few people to the side, then you can get this narrow way to an Ivy League life where you have everything and you have a lot of money, and hopefully you marry somebody who did the same thing, and then you all go into the sunset with all of your things and your achievements, and everybody's awed by it.
And diplomas.
And hopefully, if you have children, great. But if you can't get the things, get the things. And I think sobriety and abstinence, like these different programs, like they did quiet a lot of that for me. And I realized, wow, I have been on that train, and because I wanted to be valid, I wanted to be loved, and I wanted everybody to think I was great because of all these things. And I think that it's very hollow, it's just a hollow pursuit.
It absolutely is. Well, welcome. Thank you. You should have gotten your welcome kit by now. I mean, you've been here.
Didn't come.
5 years.
Didn't come. A lot of rosaries, but didn't get the welcome kit.
The Catholic Church shows up with a blueberry pie, which that would be kind of nice.
It would be, actually. That should be a teaching. We should add that to the...
I might leave for a weekend just so I could come back and get a blueberry pie. Just kidding, everyone. Don't leave the church. Okay. It's not that late. I'm going to get canceled so easily.
What? No. Are you kidding me? This is awesome. Look, we got to energize. We need more baked goods. I don't know. We need more of a welcome wagon. Come on.
That's right. I love it. Paige, the books that you have written, one was just released November 2021, and we are in the spring of 2022. Listen, years are hard right now for me. I got to be honest. This has been like a 28-year pandemic. I don't know.
What day is it? No, for sure. 100%.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So to me, your book is brand new.
Me too. You and me both. 2021. You and me both.
I have no idea. It's from what I could tell, because I'm not a scholar, I'm going to be really honest with you. But I've bought your books that I could find. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
No, I'm just kidding. You did not need my purchase. You're doing just fine on your own. But this one seems to be a little bit more spiritual than before. What kind of was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I, as I said, I was on HGTV, and I liked the fact that I was talking to real people, but I didn't like how bitchy and snotty a lot of the business was, and we were going to dictate. So I wrote my first book really about encouraging people to listen to themselves. And, I think when you write a book, you write it for yourself in a way too. And I was hearing for myself to listen to myself while I was writing my first book. I was discerning conversion really. And I mean, it was a 2-decade discernment, but anyway, that was a part of it. And
that's a real discernment. It was really discerned.
I discerned the heck out of it. It was discerned to a pulp.
Like drywall.
It really was. It was. But then, I really thought I still felt like my work was in this silo and my spiritual life. And for me, my recovery and conversion are very intertwined. It's like they can never. Somebody said to me at my church, "Can you talk about your conversion story?" I'm like, "It's ugly and it's long. Like it's not like Mother Teresa touched my forehead."
How about
it's real?
Really real and human. How about that?
Yeah, it's real. And also you need some time. Like, you're gonna need some time. People sit down. They may not look at me the same way, but I think I met this woman, Victoria Dursock, this wonderful author who's like, she's like a Christian book machine, to be quite honest. And she invited me to say, well, what about like combining this love of the home and the spiritual life? And isn't it crazy how there's a duality between the work God does on us and the work that we do in the home? And there really is this. I mean, we're being renovated by the Lord so long as we open our ears and eyes and hearts to him. And then we are hoping to renovate our homes. And I think the whole book is encouraging that and encouraging conversation between women about that.
Oh, I love that. That was your good, like, Miss America speech, and encouraging women for world peace.
Someone please talk to me, because I'm a talker and I need conversation. That's what
I think this is fantastic. I'm like sitting here. I forgot we were on a show. I was like, hold on, I need to refill my coffee. I'm like, this is wonderful, Paige. I literally can't wait till this happens in real life, because I think I'm trying to act very cool and calm and not be like, yes.
It's happening. I'm seeing the mid-century house. I'm going to get myself to Texas.
Yes,
as soon as my children join me, every second of the day, I'll be there.
I love it. No, this is so great. Listen, I want to play a game with you when I get back, and it's not quite a game. I think it'll be interesting whenever we get back to do something with you. Are you open to that? Will you stay right there?
I'm wide open. All
right, you guys, don't go anywhere. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Well, hi, y'all. This is your favorite mom influencer, Wendy. How y'all doing today? Now, listen. I'm going to tell y'all some tips and tricks about your home, because I love the gospel about Martha and Mary. And I don't care what they say that Mary should be sitting there listening to Jesus. She should be up helping Martha. You know what I mean? There's a reason why Martha Stewart is named Martha Stewart, because she knows how to have a house and how to keep a home. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And I am going to influence you and what you do for your home, because I'm a momfluencer and I did not choose it. It chose me. So here's the thing. Y'all might have noticed my big bright earrings and how lovely they are. And they say Christmas. And you know why? That's because it's my choice. And that is how your home should be. Your body is your outside home, and your home is your home. So if you want to decorate for Christmas on yourself, you should. And if you want to decorate inside your house for Christmas, you can. These are the rules. There are no rules. You need to do whatever you need to do. Now, your home should look like you and what's important to you. So let me show you something, you guys. We're going to make a little something for your house today. I want you to get all of your collectibles, all the things your babies have made you throughout the years, maybe some trips you've gone on, like to Hawaii. Maybe your husband hasn't brought you anywhere since your honeymoon, but that's fine. We don't have to talk about that right now. Okay. That's just silly. Maybe there's some things you got at a craft fair and you just don't know what to do with it. Well, I'm going to show you. Y'all, first of all, you need a tray. Okay. Everybody's got a tray. You just get yourself a tray. All right, y'all. Now, in this tray, you're going to put all your lovies. And that's what I call them. I call them your lovies, because it's just the things that you just want to love on. And when you're just having a bad day, like when the kids say, Mom, I didn't like the lunch you made. Or Mom, you didn't sign my permission slip. And you're like, okay, we don't have to be so mean. Okay. So you just go and you look at your lovies. Now, here's something that's super important to me that I'm going to put in my tray. This is my tray, okay? You make your tray, okay? You do you, okay? Just like my earrings. All right. This is the Lord. This is an Easter egg. Inside is the story of Jesus and the resurrection. But look, on the outside, it's just a palm leaf. Nobody knows Jesus is in there, okay? Which is just like Jesus in our heart, okay? He's in there. See, so much deepness going on in my tray. So this is just so that you know the Lord is in there and he is watching over you. Now, one of my babies gave this sweet thing to me, and I don't really know how to do it. I think I press it. Oh, look at that, y'all. It's opening up. It's like, oh, look at that. This is just so exciting. Now I'm going to balance it out. I got the Lord and the palm leaf on one side, and I have, oh my goodness, y'all. I've got this, you're a mom worth celebrating. That's what it says. And on the inside, it says, Beautiful you. I'm going to just put that right there. They're such a lovely. Okay, so now the other things I want to add to my tray. So when I'm having a hard time and I am just not feeling like I am lovable, which I know inside I am, I teach my babies that, and I know that I believe that as well, that the good Lord made me for a good reason. We just might not always know what it is. So some other things that make me happy are, from a trip that I went. Well, this wasn't actually my trip. This was a trip that my husband went on, and he got to go to Hawaii twice, and that's fine. I don't really care. But he did bring me back these really pretty shells, and so I'm going to put that there as a reminder that he loves me. So that's why those are there. And then there's also some of these as well. And then I've got a sign that my baby made, and it says hope, because that's what I want to have. I mean, that's what I have. I have hope. Look at this tray, everybody. Isn't this lovely? This is how you decorate your home. If you walked in and saw this in someone's home, you'd be like, they sure do know what they're doing. This is unbelievable. All right, you guys, this has just been the best ever. I love being your mom influencer, and I hope y'all just have a great day. This has been Wendy. Bye, y'all. Hello, and welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. I am still here with the amazing Paige Rien, who I still didn't get the 411 on her name, and why I learned in between breaks that is not her real name, it's her fake name, but we're not going to do that. You know why? Because maybe she'll come back. Okay. So we'll talk about her name next time. Okay. I got to butter up a little bit because Taylor is just itching to be on camera. He can't stand that I have this much time, and he doesn't. He hates me.
Yep.
He does not.
One of those statements is true.
He's kidding, Paige.
I know.
We're going to play a game with Paige. Okay. And this is, I don't know if game's the right word. I bought her books, and in the back of each chapter of her first book, Paige has these really deep questions. And I thought, what if Taylor asked us the questions and we have to answer? So we're ready.
We're ready. Okay.
Paige did not know this. I don't know the questions. I literally screenshotted them and sent them to Taylor. I don't know which ones he's going to ask.
Well, I say this every time I'm with a group of women. There's no deep thinking allowed in this.
Okay.
Just answer.
No rapid fire. This is rapid fire.
Rapid fire. This is what we're doing. Okay. Are you ladies ready?
Yeah, we're born ready.
List 5 we'll start.
Wait, how do we win though? How do we win the game?
Yeah.
I will decide the winner based on whatever criteria I have in my head.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe we could be on a team together and work together.
Can we form an alliance?
Another thing I usually do is pit 2 women against each other and see who wins.
I only do that if it's arm wrestling, just so you know. I never do that in cerebral challenges, just
I do that with pillow fighting. Go ahead, Taylor.
All right. List 5. We'll start with Paige. List 5 attributes or short phrases that describe the house you grew up in.
Oh gosh. Ooh. Okay. Colonial. Proper. Trying real hard. Stencils. Can we be country? That's.
So you grew up in the South in like the 1790s?
First of all, if my parents were watching, they'd be heartbroken. So mom and dad, lovely, colonial, but also country sometimes, and lots of blue. It's all cleaned up.
Lots of blue.
Yeah.
Blue and white was in for a while. I thought you said
lots of blow. I was like, wow.
That's another show.
Kardashians.
Just in case my parents are watching, I just wanted to let everyone know.
Blue. Good gracious.
All right, Olivia.
My house, I had 2 that I'm going to think of. Tutor. One was a tutor. One had lots of land. Both were just very homey. Like apparently you're supposed to say traditional, I guess. Like there wasn't like a decor sense. It was family pictures or like things that we got on trips. You know what I mean? There wasn't like a theme. It smelled like boy because I had 3 brothers.
I'm sure it's on my house.
Especially the game room constantly smelled like a brother. I don't know. And I would say less of toys. There was a lot of toys everywhere, like a ton. Yeah. I don't know if that works. All right, Taylor, we're ready. How'd we do?
Liv won that one.
How'd we do?
Liv won that one.
Yeah. No, Paige is winning. Okay. Paige has had a better life thus far. Okay.
I did a non-neutral judging here, but
I just loved that it was all like the colonial stuff, and then you're just like country. I was like, oh, so the South that wanted to be its own country. Got it.
Taylor thinks that means Texas flags. That's hilarious.
Yeah. All right, Paige.
Yes.
Think about a house other. Why am I reading these questions? You wrote them.
I
what's
remember.
The next question, Paige?
I was pre-COVID. I don't remember anything.
Go to a different. You could go to a different picture.
I don't
too.
want to.
Oh, okay.
Think I'm in charge.
I know.
Think about a house other than your own in which you had a lot of good times. In 5 words, what made it awesome?
Oh my gosh, my grandparents' house. Just I can remember lots of wood. Always smelled like Italian food. They had like a brown and orange plaid couch and then a brown and orange shag rug. Like I can be there right now. And my grandmother had this drawer that was like 2 feet wide full of costume jewelry. This is not phrases and bullets. I'm sorry. But anyway, but I can see that lots of brown and orange and just a lot of like warmth and stuff. It was great.
That sounds so fun.
It was fun.
That sounds so fun. Okay, my grandmother's still alive. She's 97. And I too am going to say her house, she has velvet wallpaper and it's so great. And my mom, actually, the last time she was there, took a square, and I want to have it framed into my house. It's like my favorite.
Yeah.
I can see the closets because my cousins and I, there's 58 of us, and we would put on all the things that my aunts had, like for their weddings, like their hats that no one would do now today, and we would play in that. The carpet absolutely used to be so thick, and I don't even know what it was. She has like, what is this? It's a heater. And if you go to one side and you talk through it, then a cousin on the other side can listen.
How fun is that?
So we did that. And then also we get measured on the wall. So I'm with you, friend. That's so fun. This is fun, Taylor. Okay, one more.
Final question.
That's a good question.
Okay, sorry. This is nice. Oh, this is
These
lovely.
are such well-written questions.
Someone buy this book.
My pre-COVID brain.
I'm paraphrasing the last question, so if it isn't as good, it's not Paige's fault. But we're kind of wrapping a couple of them together.
Okay.
So we've already talked about these 2 houses, the houses you grew up in and the houses that you really liked. What of those are like, which of those do you feel apply to your current home? And if something isn't there, why not? And how are you going to fix it? Go, Paige. Don't blow the lead. You're winning.
Wow. Okay. This is like a minute left with a ball and I dribble off my foot. No.
That's right. I love it.
Well, I mean, it's hard to dribble anywhere else. We saw that earlier.
Nice, Taylor.
Yes, you're right.
And she was going to come back.
They never let me dribble. That was a rule in the post. No, look, I mean, my grandmother's house had a lot of stuff. I'm a big maximalist. She also changed seasonally, like the Dickens. She definitely decorated for every like patriotic holiday, like red, white, and blue. You know. I think we just are expressing the seasons in the way my grandparents do, which I love. And I think I have a lot of stuff from their house in my house, which means a lot. So I feel like I have her glass. I love her brown glasses. I have her linens. I have other things. You know, for my parents' house, I mean, my mom really was like the first person, I think, is her family to like hire a decorator and like have a scheme and use color and be choosy and picky and like go and spend money on stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm constantly balancing like the needs of our family, not at all buying into I have to buy expensive, but then like, okay, discerning like where are we going to spend money and like put our money into something that's going to last. So although I could overnight furnish a house from the thrift store and be totally happy, like, and really, I feel like with my parents, they're like, well, let's also buy for longevity. And I feel like that's a big piece, something that I learned from them.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that. I think because I bought this house. About that. Well, my house is so hard now because it's a mid-century modern, and the way that it was designed, it's a piece of art. Like the house itself, it doesn't lend itself to be decorated. The house is like, I'm good, thank you. It's like,
I know the feeling.
That is a challenge.
Please stop. So there, I've had to figure out because I did like how many pictures we had like at my parents, and so I do have a spot, and it's like our pictures of our family in New York City with a professional photographer that was printed on metal. Like, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah,
That would not be what my parents would have, but it's kind of like my way. And then my grandmother, the only piece of artwork that I have up in the house is she always signed all of her cards to each of us, like to the grandkids, which there's 58 grandkids, 98 great grand, and there's still more to be had. Anyway, she would sign, "I love you very, very much, Grandma." So I got 2 canvases and I had her write, "I love you very, very much" in paint on one and Grandma on the second. And that's all that hangs in my hallway. So that's how I've like carried her, you know what I mean? That, which isn't exactly her home, but it's the feeling of what she gave me in her home. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what I did.
Well, first of all, handwriting is so big to me. Like, there's something about handwriting in someone's hand. And I mean, I can remember my grandmother died. Like, I just stared at her hands. It's very weird, very weird. But
no,
but it is personal. Like, those are the hands that like took care of babies and cooked for us and wrote. And it's funny, my grandmother would write, "Love you so much, love you so much." And it's funny, she's passed away, but I'm gonna blow that up. Do something with it, because it's like it's very meaningful. Meaningful.
I love it. I love it. Well, Paige, this has been fantastic. Friend, where can people name the books? Where can people find you? This is your moment. This is the big Meryl Streep moment. Make it dramatic.
Okay, I'll get real down. First of all, it's been such an honor. So this is the most fun thing of my whole year of 2022 by 1,000%, first of all. And thank you very much for having me. And I spend way too much time on Instagram. So if you want to find me, I'm probably there, probably then going to respond to you immediately. A lot of antics on there and stories. And then my books are sold wherever books are sold. Love the house you're in, especially if you're just starting and you're confused or stuck or whatever. A lot of exercises for the house there. And Revived and Renovated is a book about, fusing our Christian faith with our journey and our work in our home. And so, they're both for everybody. But
I love it. I love it, friend. Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. We'd love to have you again. Next time I won't invite Taylor.
I was the problem today.
He's the reason you can hear me all. Come on, Taylor, the bearded wonder. I have a crush
the
on him.
bearded wonder. Great. He needed a new nickname. Oh, geez. Now you're his favorite guest. You guys, thank you so much. Make sure to visit Paige and all the things. Don't go anywhere. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison.
I love it.
You guys, welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. This was so much fun. I feel like we are really starting to enjoy the heck out of the show and of our guests. And I could not do it without you. Here's what we need. If you don't mind, I'd love for you to subscribe on YouTube. I'd love for you to subscribe to my social media and go ahead, subscribe to Taylor. Make sure that you're sharing the show with your friends. If you're on the East Coast, you can tune in up there anytime. You can listen to us on Thursday nights, but you can also download the Veritas app and subscribe to all of their social medias. And please go and visit Paige and all of her incredible books. To be really honest, her 2 books are really extraordinary. If you're doing anything with your home, if you don't know, what does my house look like? What is my taste? What do I want? She also, which I didn't even get to with her, she actually does courses online and they're not expensive. Like, she'll do like a 6-week course where you can find what is your voice in your home? How can you, represent your faith, what you believe, your family, all within your interior space? Because as we know, if we learned anything from the pandemic, besides that you can make things out of your garage, is that you need to be in a space in your interior life, inside your home, where it's peaceful and something that you love and enjoy and that speaks to you. So they do absolutely go hand in hand. As always, please follow along at The Liv Harrison. You can check me out on thelivharrison.com. As you know, I have some pilgrimages coming up. I would love for you to join me. There's a whole page dedicated to that, so make sure to check it out. And I will see you soon. Don't go anywhere, you guys. Make sure to return and come back because you are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Good night, y'all.